Good evening, everybody. Another edition of On the Road Again with Shaggy. And this is probably going to be a short one, but I wanted to say that today I actually got first bit of feedback from somebody regarding yesterday's post, actually. They were happy with it, and they thought it was a good post and very interesting to listen to. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to more comments, hopefully coming from you guys that listen. Don't forget, you can leave a comment either by commenting on the post, be it in Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, or if you're listening on our Libsyn page, there's a place where you can comment right there. You can also throw me an email, on the road again, or Shaggy at PTR Radio. On the Road Again will let you kind of know that it's related to the On the Road Again segment, unless you put that in the message. But wanted to let you guys know I normally record an episode on Saturday. I'm starting to do that now. But this Saturday I won't have an episode recorded because I'm going to be gone all day. And I'm sure I will have a reflection episode on it. But just to let you guys know, what I'm doing on Saturday is something that I don't know if many people have done this. A little backstory. When I was about 12 years old, my paternal grandmother died, and she kind of held the whole family together on that side. All right, I'm sure most of you are in that scenario where you had one family member that was holding everything together, and when they passed, it just wasn't the same. Well, that's what this was. It was that. And once that happened, then we started to learn a little bit more about their relationship, my grandparents' relationship. And it turned out, my dad learned, that his father, my grandfather, had cheated on her on numerous occasions. And it just broke him. I mean, it really shook him to the core of how could he do this. And whatever his reasons were, I'm never going to know. And as with the case with most things like that, you don't know the reasons. Sometimes there are no reasons, or they're extremely selfish reasons or whatever. And, it's in the past. You can't go back and undo something. You can't unring a bell, as they say. But that created a huge rift. And from the time that he found that out, that side of the family was cut off. There was nothing more, really. Shortly thereafter, my grandfather remarried, and that really drove the last nails in the coffin, as it were. They moved out of state, and so by the time I was 13, pretty much, there was no communication anymore with that side of the family. And recently, within the last couple of years, you've probably heard me somewhat mention on the podcast, on the main radio show, that I've kind of reconnected with one of my cousins from that side who's developmentally disabled. And that meant that I got back together a little bit with my aunt, and that we started talking. And she's really the only one that is still talking to my grandfather. And I had kind of reflected for a long time about, should I go see him? Should I try and rebuild that relationship? And the decision was kind of made up when she said that he didn't have much longer to live. He's in his late 90s. His wife is also in her 90s, and neither one of them are doing very well. And she doesn't expect them to live but maybe a few more years. So I knew that I was going to regret it if I didn't at least try. And at first, I was rebuffed, okay? I was told that he didn't want to see me and that I had hurt his feelings. I think he was confused a little bit, as which happens with older people. He confused me for one of my cousins and as to how things happened. And so he didn't want to see me initially, but then I don't know whether it was my aunt or his wife, but they convinced him that maybe his recollection wasn't the correct one and that he should see me and that he should give it a chance. So this Saturday, I am traveling with my wife. God love her. She is the best. I'm traveling 3 hours away, one way, so 6 hours round trip, to go see a man that I haven't seen in 27 years. So I haven't known him almost over twice as long as I ever knew him. I'm not sure what's going to happen. My wife keeps asking me, how long are we going to stay? And I keep telling her, I don't know. We could get there and in 15 minutes turn around and come home. Or we could be there all day long. I don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to say once we get there. Getting there, to me, is the easy part, and everything else, I'm playing by ear, and I have no idea how to even start. So I'm sure I will do a follow-up episode telling everyone how it went, what happened, but I will tell you this. I will not be sorry no matter which way that it goes, because I made the effort, and I know that I can rest easy knowing that I'm putting my best foot forward and trying to repair this relationship and trying to move forward. So if you guys don't hear for a big episode, because normally I try to do a longer one on the weekends. If you guys don't hear a longer type episode for the weekend, that's why. It's because I'm busy on Saturday. So like I said, I'm sorry about that. I will do it'll probably be a long episode when I get back and, telling you how things went and, or depending upon how they went, you may not hear about it. It's one of those things where I can't tell you how it's going to end up because I don't have a clue. But like I said, I will have tried. And that's, I think, what's important at the end of the day. So I'm back home with my pizza now. And I'm going to try and relax the rest of the evening. I know I'm going to have a long day on Saturday, no matter how it goes. So, my trip is over for this time. I will see you next time I'm on the road. Please feel free to leave a comment. Facebook, Twitter is at PTR Radio, or send it to On the Road Again at PTR Radio. This is Shaggy, and I'll see you later. Good morning, everybody. Another edition of On the Road Again with Shaggy. I know I said I wouldn't get you guys a large episode during the weekend, so I thought, well, I'll put out another short one here before Saturday hits and I make my epic ride to Missouri. Came out in the news this week. It was an article I was trying to figure out how exactly to cover. David Hogg, one of the activists which came out of the high school shooting, was receiving an award, I believe, in Washington D.C. I don't have the details. One of the downsides of recording this while I'm driving is I don't have the details in front of me, so I either have to remember them, which is a problem when your memory's horrible, or I have to reference a sheet of paper that I have to remember to print out. So excuse me for the details. But anyway, David Hogg, an activist from the shooting, which took tragically a lot of kids' lives. He was receiving an award on, I believe, Washington D.C., along with a few others, while his home in California was being swatted. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with what swatting is, it arose in 2017. And it is, according to its Urban Dictionary definition, considered a prank, whereby someone calls up the local 911 and gives a scenario in which the proper police response is to send a SWAT unit to an address which is not actually experiencing any crisis, and the police send a large contingency fully armed to the residents. So that's what happened. Some, extremely cowardice individual or individuals planned this out, hoping that he would be home to facilitate a police strike on his residence. Now, Multiple media outlets reported this as a prank. However, if you read about the origin of this, the very first instance of this resulted in a fatality. So I have a real problem with news agencies reporting this as a prank. Now, I will not go so far as some other places as calling this attempted murder, but I will not refer to this as a prank. This is, as with other items which I have pointed out on this channel, not a prank. This is a crime. All right? This is what I would consider possibly even a violent crime, because you are actively trying to hurt someone. All right? Put someone in a situation where they very likely could be injured. All right? Now, I do not blame the police in this, because they're going into a situation where they are being told that someone is armed, dangerous, and, doing harm to others. So their natural instinct is to protect themselves, protect the ones around them, and to, if at all possible, protect the ones, get the ones that are being harmed out of harm's way. So they will use what they consider a reasonable amount of force to what they perceive is being used in the residence, which is what's being lied to them about. So, again, this is not a prank, all right? People have been killed or massively injured during having this done to them, all right? And for what? For what? Why was David Hogg targeted in this? Because somebody didn't agree with his politics? Really? Because he's fighting for gun reform? You are so insecure about your own, right to bear arms against an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, that you're going to send the police to his house in full combat outfits and, ready to draw their arms and shoot someone. That's what you think is a good idea? I say that you're not mentally stable enough to have a gun. All right? I have long said that, I agree people should have the right to defend themselves. But I think that it should be qualified people. All right? It should be people of sound mind. And whoever did this, be it male, female, Republican, Democrat, whatever the case, those people are not of sound mind. Those people are idiots to the nth degree, and in my opinion, deserve to be incarcerated for what they did. All right, these people are no different than the guy that jumped the counter at Dunkin' Donuts, stole a whole tray of donuts, brought it back and said, "Oh, it was a prank, I don't need to go to jail." No, you stole. It doesn't matter that you brought it back. It still can't be sold. All right? The only difference here is, well, actually, it's not a difference, because nowadays, if you tried to steal from a business, you could get shot. All right? Guys, these aren't pranks. None of these are pranks. A prank is gluing a $50 to the sidewalk and watching people try to pick it up. A prank is, putting saran wrap on the toilet seat. A prank is a bucket of water pouring down on you when you open a door. These are non-violent pranks. Okay? That's what a prank is. A prank does not involve violating the law. And it's ridiculous that this is what's being, out there to, I hate the phrase, but to our children. That's what they're seeing, and they're eating it up. And so it's propagating more and more and more. Kids, for right or wrong, are very influential. And when they see someone getting attention, they want to emulate that because they're starved for attention. All right? It's a look at me generation. And that's every generation is a look at me generation. Every generation wants to be paid attention to. No matter whether you were a baby boomer, a millennial, or a Generation X, or whatever. All right? We all strive for people to pay attention to us because we want to feel like we were important. But these things, swatting, that's not the way to get attention. All right, I tell my daughter all the time, I hope that I'm remembered for something that's important. All right, in a good way. In a good way. I want people to know that I made an effect on their life in a positive manner. All right, that's how I want to be remembered. The last thing I'd want to do is be remembered as the guy who called this, who initiated a swatting call that resulted in someone's death. How do you want to live with that on your conscience? You know, I just get frustrated with these people who call these things a prank, because they're absolutely not a prank. It's breaking the law. It's causing or wanting to cause someone harm for no damn good reason. And I can't imagine I'm the only person out there that thinks this. So I want your opinion. So tell me what you think. On the road again at PTR Radio is the email address. You can also tweet us at PTR Radio or check us out on Facebook. Facebook.com/PTR Radio. Don't forget to leave a comment on the episode. These are now going up on our YouTube feed automatically, so hopefully you will see them there. They won't have any video right now. I'm just putting a splash screen up. But if you do subscribe to us on YouTube, at least you're seeing these now. And, you know, I'm just about to my destination. You probably won't hear from me again until Sunday at the earliest, folks. So, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll check back with you next time I'm on the road.